today, and congrats on taking the first step toward finding your right career. This workshop will be more helpful to you if you've already watched the secret 4-part formula video on the homepage. Here I'll explain how you can identify your right career by finding your unique 4 parts in the formula. The best part is you'll be able to do it yourself at no cost once you finish this workshop. I'll cover 3 major areas: your team you need to have to be successful, the secret 6 steps you need to follow, and how you can do this even better and more easily if you use the My Right Career program, plus ways to do that at little or no cost. If you don't look forward to each and every day, it doesn't have to feel that way. Your job doesn't have to feel like work. You could have a job you love so much you lose track of time doing it. Okay, so let's get into it. But first, I want to introduce myself. I'm Don Lundgren. Many programs with similar offerings are from people who have had only 10 years of experience with their approach. Many have had only 1 or 2 careers, and often their process comes from researching literature, not from real-world experience. I've had a 40-year career that touches all the bases. In the first part of my career, I was at IBM in sales and finance. Then I went to Silicon Valley and helped startups as a CFO or CEO. And today I'm a social entrepreneur helping people identify their right career. During these different seasons, I have had 10 careers in multiple executive roles, so I know a lot about changing careers. At age 43, I started helping other people my age. But I have 2 millennials, and when my daughter went to college, I decided to only focus on millennials. You have such a fresh perspective on work-life balance. Let's talk about you and how we can get you loving your career and looking forward to each and every day. And how can we help you navigate the 5 to 8 careers you'll have in your life? You can see my formula helped me make 6 career changes from age 21 to age 43. Now we'll share the team you need to be successful, the secret 6 steps you can use to identify your unique 4-part formula. This isn't like all the other online webinars and workshops. Many of them say they're going to tell you how to do it yourself, and they really don't. What I'm sharing with you today are the principles contained in the My Right Career program, a shorter version for sure, but still the principles are the same. At the end of this workshop, you can take all of these tools and find your right career yourself without paying any money. In fact, I'll give you access to 2 other resources that will increase your ability to do it yourself. Almost no major changes in life can be made without involving others. Losing weight, stopping smoking. Your first step is to put together a team who will support you in your search for your right career. You need a team that includes the following types of people: a career advisor, a 3-member career advisory board, and a large set of informational interviewers. I'll describe each one in more detail. The career advisor is your primary outside resource. They will talk with you at the end of each step, most likely over the phone. You have 2 options: an accountability partner. They won't charge you any money. You'll probably find them on a spectrum from a friend or peer who's mainly there for accountability, or an experienced professional who's been mentoring people their entire career. Or you can get a professional coach who will probably manage the whole process, and they'll probably cost you $150 for each of the steps you go through. The 3-member Career Advisory Board are your windows on the world. Choose people in your area of interest, for example, finance, fashion, high tech. They can introduce you to people in their network. You will only meet with them twice, in the middle after the interim capstone and at the end after the final capstone. These meetings are one-on-one, not as a group. After your first 3 steps, you should have an interim capstone so you can step back and see where you are. At that time, you'll probably have some career ideas. Now you need to identify some people who work in those career areas. Then have an informational interview with them to learn more about your potential new career. You can start those informational interviews at any time. You don't have to wait until the interim capstone. Did you know from 50 to 80% of the job opportunities are hidden? As you do your informational interviews, you may find that person has an opening for someone like you. They know someone in their company who has an opening. They know someone in another company who has an opening. Ask if you can come back when you finish the program, because you'll have a strong sales story at that time. The next major topic is the 6 steps. The next part is the process to identify your right career or careers. At the center is the no longer secret 4-part formula. Now I will share the 6 steps to identify your unique 4 parts. Remember how my 4 parts changed multiple times. For example, from the time I joined IBM until I left for Silicon Valley. The first 2 steps help you identify what is natural to you. In step 1, you'll learn about your personality and interests. In step 2, you'll learn about your skills and strengths. In step 3, you'll identify what has meaning to you and therefore your passion. Steps 4 and 5 allow you to look backwards at your past and forward to your future. Step 6 allows you to tackle that important issue of economics to see if this is a career or a hobby. Besides the 6 steps, there are 3 other important elements. Get started. It lets you look at where you are today and where you want to be in the future. Interim capstone. By then, you'll most likely have identified 1 or more careers that may be your right career. Final capstone is where you pull it all together. There are 2 other free resources besides this 6 steps presentation that will help you do it yourself. One of those is the Try It site. It's a clone of the actual content site. It allows you to go through all the steps and topics. In fact, you can do this while I'm describing them in this presentation. And the presentation will serve as a guide. The other no-charge resource is the Get Started step. When you click on Get Started in the program content table, it will take you to the Get Started homepage. There you can see a list of the topics in the Get Started step that you can complete at no charge. In the Steps table, you can click on any topic you want to complete. For example, clicking on Your Job History takes you to the Job History topic page. This is the job topic page. All the topic pages have the same structure. High-level instructions, examples so you can see an example of the document you're going to create, and the topic summary document SMART template. SMART templates provide you the instructions inside the template. It guides you through creating the document, and at the end of it, it produces a PDF for your use. It's like having a coach inside the template. Here are the 4 topics in the Get Started step, and they fall into 2 categories. The first category is your view of where you stand today, your well-being, and your job situation, both past and current. The second one is your view of the future. Your future vision, for example, 5 years from now, and your goals, deciding what you want at the end of your entire effort, not just get started, and setting a schedule, at least for a completion of the interim capstone. In the first topic, you examine your well-being using Gallup's definition from their extensive research. This is Amy's results and her explanation. Physical, a score of 8. This high score reflects the changes she made to her physical lifestyle to get in shape. Social, 6. She moved from New York, where she had friends, to Dallas, where she struggled to make friends. Career and financial is a 6, and those two went hand in hand. Community is a 4. She was only in Dallas to help out family, and she didn't really relate to it as a community. So, pause the video. Estimate the category with the highest score for you and the one with the lowest score. In the Get Started step, you can compare that to the Gallup assessment report. In this topic, you think about all the jobs, even ones back in high school. What job did you like the most? What job did you like the least? Then think about your current job. What have you liked the most about it, and what have you liked the least about it? In this topic, you create a vision at a future age, for example, in 5 years. We recommend you use the 5 Gallup well-being categories. For example, Katie says the following. For career, I'm my own boss and I answer only to my clients. For social, I am with someone who loves me for me, yet challenges me to keep being the best version of me. Financial, I'm completely comfortable and independent. On health, my health condition is completely healed. On community, I'm still involved with a nonprofit that benefits the community. Set some goals you want to achieve based on this investment of your time. You may want the 3 I described at the start. A job where you look forward to each and every day, that doesn't feel like work, where you lose track of time. But you might want to have some very specific goals. Orion wants to examine his career so far and generate some options. Chris wanted to validate that his new job is really right, and then find a career that meets a list of criteria. So pause the video and write down 1 to 3 goals you have for using this do-it-yourself approach. We project you'll spend about 3 months doing this, so you need some goals. Now create a schedule that will allow you to finish the interim capstone the time you want. We provide one that will finish the capstone in 10 weeks if you invest a little over 2 hours a week. Without a plan, it's just a wish. Once you establish your schedule, forget about the interim capstone completion date. Just focus on the first milestone, completing the personality topic on schedule. If you don't meet that milestone, you won't hit your interim capstone milestone. Now commit to yourself and to your accountability partner that date. Put it in writing, send them a text. At the end of each step, you should have a review with your accountability partner. This may be the first time you've had any meaningful discussion, and this material is a perfect starting point. Review the 4 topics in the Get Started step. Your well-being topic, your jobs topic, your future topic, and your goals topic. And that includes your schedule to get to the interim capstone. Then finish with a focus on your personality topic completion date, including setting a day and time for the personality topic meeting. Now we're going to help you understand your 4 parts. The first is knowing your best self. Who are you when you're at your best? Who are you really? This may seem silly, but I'm telling you, I've met people well into their 50s that never got the chance to really know themselves. And it's sad, because they missed out exploring parts of their life that could have really made them so happy and successful. We'll now use the 6 steps I described earlier. The first step is yourself. In this step, you will identify and understand your personality as well as your interests. When people join my program, I have them take a series of assessments. Honestly, this part is really fun for people. You get to be objective about who you are. One of the major factors in being successful in a career is its match to your personality. Because it is the major factor, I'm going to spend more time on this topic than any other in the program. In this topic, you should take the combined Myers-Briggs and Strong Interest Assessment. You can find that on the resources page. Everyone has a 4-letter personality type. Mine is INTJ. The item's circled in yellow. The first is where you focus your attention. I is for introverts. After a hard day at work, I am energized by spending alone time to recharge my batteries. E, which is for extroverts. For example, my daughter gets energized by being with people. For example, going out and having some drinks. The next category is the way you take in information. N is for intuitives. I look at possibilities, the big picture, and not always things that are really practical. S is for sensors. They focus on facts and details and apply common sense. Third category is the way you make decisions. T is for thinking. I make decisions based on logic and analysis. F is for feelers. They use a subjective evaluation of people-centered concerns. The last category is how you deal with the outside world. So J is for judging. I take a planned and organized approach, and I want an agreed end result. So P is perceivers. They take a spontaneous approach to life, and they want to keep their options open. Seldom is someone 100% of one of these types. Thus, you'll get a clarity score in each one. For example, on introversion versus extroversion, I'm a 12 out of 30. So while I'm an introvert, I have some extrovert in me. This is how I could be a successful IBM sales rep, a successful CEO, and successful early stage Silicon Valley CFO, which has a lot of sales to it. But on judging, I'm a 30 out of 30 on the scale. Seldom is anyone a total on any of the 4 types. But if you talk to people about me, they'd agree with this assessment. In fact, they often make fun of me. For example, you always have a plan, Don. People would say, Don, you're so organized and analytical. I used to think, isn't everyone organized? Of course, being analytical, I realized, no, most people aren't organized and analytical, at least not as much as I am. Then I realized those are just natural for me, so it's easy to do those. Then I also realized I should not feel so superior about being able to do these things since they are just the result of my personality. It's not that I spent 10,000 hours perfecting my jump shot so I could consistently make baskets from beyond the 3-point line. People with personalities like mine, INTJs, excel at and like doing careers like engineering, finance, and law. My daughter's extremely good with people. She's outgoing. This is a strength in her personality. If she had to sit behind a desk and crunch numbers all day, she'd not be at her best. And she might even be depressed. Since I'm very analytical and an introvert, in my early 30s I discovered I enjoy sitting at a computer building financial models. But I'd spent my 20s as an IBM salesman. It was like swimming upstream. I was very successful, but it was very hard. I became my best when I switched from IBM sales to doing financial analysis in IBM Finance. Unlike all the other steps, I recommend you have an accountability partner meeting after finishing only one topic, not all three in this first step. We have found two things. People can have trouble getting going, so this gives you an early checkpoint. Personality is also the most important topic, so focus on it. In your career advisor meeting, share what you've learned about your personality and what careers fit your personality and appeal to you the most. So now you're at the end of your first step. See if you met that date you texted to your accountability partner. You already took the strong interest inventory as part of taking the Myers-Briggs assessment. You will have identified which 2 to 3 of your top 6 general occupation themes are dominant. My top 2 are conventional. I'm interested in roles where I can be in charge of organizing things and people, and I like things that involve business. Enterprising. I like to start up and own a project. This shows why I decided to not work as an engineer, even though my personality is definitely suited to be an engineer. I was more interested in conventional business kind of things and enterprising. So I went immediately to business school and earned an MBA, although I paid for it by working as an engineer. In your accountability partner meeting, discuss what you learned about your interests and which careers fit them, and what you learned about the intersection of your interests and personality and which careers fit that intersection. So now you're at the end of your second part of the first step, the interest topic. See if you met your schedule. Often people have fallen behind and need to create a new schedule. We've found staying on schedule is your biggest challenge. And 3 solutions are: 1, have a realistic schedule, under-promise and over-deliver. 2, have someone who will truly hold you accountable. And 3 is have someone you don't want to disappoint. The second most important step is your skills and strengths. These are also natural. You are born with your strengths. There are 2 myths about your strengths. Myth number 1, as you grow, you'll change. The truth is, as you grow, you'll become more and more of who you already are. You're born with your strengths. That's why the Gallup assessment helps you identify your top 5. By the way, your personality also doesn't change. Myth number 2 is you will grow the most in your area of weakness. Truth is, you'll grow the most in your areas of strengths. So don't spend your time trying to improve your weaknesses. That's the quickest way to waste your life. Spend your time honing your strengths. Own them. You can use the ONET system to identify your skills. You can select from a list of 35 skills those you feel are your strongest. ONET will give you a list of occupations that use those skills. You may find occupations you had never thought of that leverage your skills. For example, Chris identified a new occupation, management consulting. He believed he had a basic grasp of all the required skills, but the position would really force him to up-level all of them at once. Yet he liked that each project is fresh and new, and that he could tackle many diverse challenges and build experience quickly. The Gallup Strengths Finder identifies your top 5 out of a potential 35 strengths. You will find the link to that assessment on the resources page. My top 2 are achiever, stamina and hard work, responsibility, do what you say you will do. The report also gives you ways to work with those strengths. I'm responsible, so people will say, give it to Don, he'll get it done. Of course I will, because I'm also an achiever. But I can get overcommitted, so I need to know when to say no. Gallup found successful entrepreneurs share 10 talents. The Gallup Builder Profile will identify your top 4 talents. You will find the link to that assessment on the resources page. You can use those talents to build a project, a department in a company, or a classical startup. My top 2 talents are creative thinker and determination. Steve Jobs said the number 1 attribute an entrepreneur needs is perseverance. From my experience, I totally agree with that. In your career advisor meeting, discuss what you learned about your skills, your top 5 strengths, and your top 4 entrepreneurial talents. Take another look at your schedule, either the original one or the one you revised. Are you still on it? I am forever amazed how people who hate what they're doing or really want to find the right career can have trouble staying on schedule. Is that going to be you? As I pointed out earlier, it is dangerous not to do what you love. You'll lose out to others who do and are not just working to earn a living. But it only works when it's partnering with your natural strengths. You need to be a natural singer to be a successful singer. On the other side of that, you can't hate what you do. If you are really good at project management type tasks, but you hate it, then it's not sustainable. There is a relationship between leveraging your natural personality and natural strengths and following your passion. They tend to be the same thing. I was very good at analysis of computers. I had a passion for understanding the business side of IBM, having spent so many years in sales. So they came together. One way to identify your passions is to look at your major accomplishments, ones you're really proud of doing, even if you didn't enjoy it. By examining them, you will see 2 things: a common thread of things for which you have a passion, areas for which you have little or no passion. Chris found, it's clear to me that I enjoy doing things that provide validation. I also like putting together structure from nothing. I also notice that I need to feel in control of my destiny. When I do not accomplish something I set out to do, even if it's not practical, it offends my ego easily. Two recruiters interviewed hundreds of people over 50 and asked what drove them besides money. They narrowed the list down to 35 drivers. For example, Chris picked out these top 3. Authority. I definitely enjoy being the guy to go for certain advice. Creativity. To be honest, the way this plays out is typically more in the form of thinking, how can I get my message across in the best way here? Intellectual stimulation. I want to be friends with people who can challenge me mentally because I tend to adapt to that, and I then feel smarter by surrounding myself with those people. Pause the video and do at least one of these 3 prompts and see if they help you identify a passion. There are a lot more prompts in the program. What did you enjoy doing at age 10? A psychotherapist says the things we loved as a child are probably still the things we love. He suggests drawing up a list of the favorite activities and interests from childhood. Number 2, Figure out what fear is stopping you from doing things. I was very much struck a few years ago when I saw a small sign that read, "What would you try if you knew you couldn't fail?" Number 3, what do you most enjoy talking about? When this topic comes up in a conversation, does your energy level immediately rise? Do you find you have to control how excited you get about this topic because you can bore others who are not as interested as you are? In your career advisor meeting, discuss what did your accomplishments tell you about your passions? What are your top drivers? Share some of your prompts and how they informed you about your passions. Now you only have to finish the interim capstone, so it's easy to see if you're going to meet your schedule goals. Now you're at your goal for Phase 1, the interim capstone. Depending on how many topics you're going to complete in Phase 2, you've probably completed 75% of the program. This is the time to reflect on what you discovered in Phase 1 and plan what you still want to accomplish in Phase 2. Most people identify 1 or 2 careers by the interim capstone. Chris is trying to decide how to leverage his experience in a large Silicon Valley company. 1, return to his original love and his major in college, film production. 2, become an investment banker focused on high tech. Or 3, join a startup. Right now, he's leaning toward becoming an investment banker. He'll be doing some informational interviews and examining how each option fits the 4-part formula. Another task is deciding how many of the remaining topics you want to complete. The simplest approach is completing them all. In this example, Chris chose, in your past step, the autobiography because it's a gold mine for finding out ideas about careers. Stories because he feels he can learn more than just a one-line accomplishment by examining a complete story. He skipped job/career decisions because he felt that was adequately covered in Get Started. In the Your Future step, he chose to skip the future vision because he felt it was covered in the Get Started step. But he wanted to work backwards so he could create a plan to get to his vision. In economics, he only wanted to create a budget for the job he plans to take. In the Career Advisory Board Strategy topic, you will examine who is or should be on the board and how you want them to help you. If you've chosen them wisely, they are your windows in the world. They bring a real-world perspective. They also bring their network. Chris took this approach in choosing his board. A colleague who is in a position that Chris would like to be in one day, a colleague who exhibits the skills that Chris would like to emulate, another colleague who is in a higher position than Chris within his own department. If you've not started doing informational interviews, now is the time to start. Find people who can help you better understand the potential right career or careers you identified. Your career advisor or career advisory board members can probably recommend some. Remember, this is not about selling yourself. It's about finding out information from them about a particular career. But in that process, you may find a hidden career opportunity. You can come back to that at the end. In your career advisor meeting, discuss these 3 key things. Careers you identified, how you're going to validate them via informational interviews, and how you'll use your career advisory board. Then review your recommended Phase 2 topics within each step, which may be just doing all the topics in each step. Finally, discuss the schedule for Phase 2 you created. We provide a sample that will finish at 16 weeks. This is the first time you'll have met with the members of your career advisory board. You meet with them one by one, not in a group. Maria Louisa took this approach. She had identified 3 areas of interest: art, spiritual teaching, and coach. She then found people who were experienced in each of these areas to be on our career advisory board. Then she met with each of them, talking about her interests in that particular area and reasons they made sense for her. She got this from her work in Steps 1, 2, and 3. One discovery from those interviews was the amount of time needed to be a spiritual teacher was much higher than Maria Louisa was willing to invest. Now we begin Phase 2. It contains the last 3 steps and the final capstone. The 4th step is your past. There's a gold mine in your past. It's often the window into your future. By looking at your past, you will find things like fit with your personality, your interests, your skills, your strengths, and your passions. Jessica said, "Now that I understand my strengths, I see why a couple of my jobs didn't work out. And I now see the types of jobs that will." The first topic is to write a simple bullet form autobiography. Not like the Benjamin Franklin autobiography. Save that for later. For example, Orion found, number 1, I've been most engaged and happy either leading people in the wilderness, for example, Outward Bound, or teaching, ecological landscaper. Number 2, I like deep personal connection with students and participants. Number 3, I love learning new things and putting them into action. And number 4, I'm always looking for new techniques to help people move toward right relationships with the land. Then write 1-page stories for each of your major accomplishments you identified in Step 3. You'll gain many more insights from the story than you do from the short description. For example, one of my major accomplishments was founder and editor of the college newspaper. By writing the 1-page story, I saw that I was an entrepreneur before I even knew the word. I was not risk adverse. Others told me not to start the newspaper because it might fail. Number 3, I could recruit, organize, and manage people who knew things I didn't know. I had never worked on a publication. Now dig deeper into your job and career history than you did in Get Started. Compare them to the right career Venn diagram and see where they aligned and didn't align. And identify your good decisions and your poor decisions. Matt's insights were, 1, I didn't have a plan, so I ended up selling copiers. Then I got lucky to land at Apple. When I have a plan, I'm usually able to succeed. Sometimes you just let things happen, and it isn't usually as good. 3, I need to be thinking about my next role and actively preparing for it instead of waiting for a change to be forced on me. And last, when I am working, I am much more valuable for a new role than when I'm unemployed. In a career advisor meeting, discuss what you learned from writing an autobiography, insights from your stories, and additional insights from looking at your past jobs and careers. Take another look at your Phase 2 schedule. Is it still reasonable? Step 5 is your future. By now, you probably have a career or two to use in this step. In Get Started, you did your first pass at your future age vision. Consider revising it now that you have an idea of potential right careers from the interim capstone. Katie used the previous steps to paint her future. Number 1, in 5 years, I'm a full-time certified life coach. Number 2, I have a very solid reputation. Number 3, I can charge the same rates as some of the top coaches in the industry. And number 4, I have enough clients that I can accept the ones where I know the working relationship will be the most beneficial to them. In this topic, you should work backwards from your future aid vision to your current reality. Here's Katie's example. Year 5, her definition was on the previous chart, a very successful life coach. Year 3, I am working as much as I would like, and my rates are still competitive, but just under what other coaches are charging, while I continue to build my client base. Year 1, I have completed my life coach certificate and am a practicing coach. While not proficient at my craft, my fees are a reflection of my limited experience. Current reality. I'm a full-time homeschooling mother to 4 children, where my only resume experience has been unpaid, even though it's been work I've enjoyed. I have researched and selected a coaching program that resonates with me. In this topic, Katie built structural tension between her year 1 milestone and her current reality. She created the goals she must achieve to reach that first milestone, completing her training. 1, find an additional $6,500. 2, find alternative payment options. 3, find part-time work from home. And 4, start blogging again. She only has to focus on achieving her plus 1 year goal. If she doesn't, the rest won't happen. In your career advisor meeting, discuss your revised future vision, how you work backwards to your current reality, what your short-term objectives are to achieve that first milestone. Then take another look at your schedule. Let's now look at the elephant in the room in step 6, money. Okay, I don't want to be a dream killer, but we got to be real. It's about not spending more than you take in. There are 3 different budgets we recommend you develop. For the job you're going to take next, for the job you believe it will eventually grow into, so you can see if it's worth taking now. One of the attendees found out after a year of training and 2 years of proving herself, her income in her 4th year was still not acceptable, so she didn't start her training. Then a contingency budget in case you didn't get the job you want, or it takes longer. Your income and expenses are often dictated by where you live in the world, and also what matters to you. Alyssa wanted to live in San Francisco. She had a business degree with a focus on finance. Her right career was being in finance, and her first job was probably as a financial analyst. So she first needed to see what she could earn in that position in San Francisco. She used 2 resources. Glassdoor, which said a junior financial analyst could earn $65,000. By step 6, she'd already had quite a few informational interviews, so she was quite knowledgeable on the income front. She and 3 friends started to look for apartments. They found a 4-bedroom Victorian in Lower Pacific Heights for $6,000 a month. Fortunately, Alyssa was a financial analyst. She calculated her take-home pay after tax and after medical insurance. Then she divided that into 2 buckets, rent and spendable. She discovered her $1,500 rent was 44% of her monthly take-home pay. A little research convinced her rent should not be higher than 35%, so she realized she couldn't afford the $1,500 rent. Her other 3 roommates could afford it because they made $100,000, and the rent was only 30% of their monthly take-home pay. Alyssa calculated she could afford a $1,100 apartment. My point, everyone does this differently. You just have to be clear on your financial needs and to make sure whatever career you chose can meet these needs. This doesn't mean finance is not Alyssa's right career. It does mean she is not going to live in a nice area of San Francisco if she can only afford $1,100 a month for an apartment. Don't just rent the apartment and find out the hard way you can't afford it after signing the 1-year lease. In your career advisor meeting, discuss what you learned about your 3 different budgets. You can also discuss 2 optional topics if you did them. One is the financials of buying a house. The second one is the financials of raising a family. Then take another look at your schedule. Hopefully now you're right on schedule and all you have left to do is the capstone. In the final capstone, you pull it all together. There are 4 topics in the final capstone. 1, identify your right career. 2, create a sales story you can use for informational interviews and finding a job. 3, validate it is really your right career, mainly through informational interviews, which could lead to finding a job. And 2, also through other research, for example, on the web. And last, build a follow-on plan. First, you create a definition of your right career or careers. For example, Chris chose investment banking for the high-tech industry. He feels it to be his best because it leverages his ENFJ personality, being an extrovert, intuitive, and he makes decisions through feeling, and he's a planner. It's in his strengths domain. He's good at influencing and energizing. And he has worked in high-tech marketing for 6 years. It matches his passion for technology. In economics, it's a very well-paying career. On the personal agenda, he can live in San Francisco and also travel. His elevator statement is, I want to be an investment banker focused on high tech. I have all the natural strengths for it and a lifelong passion for technology. Now create a sales story for that career, which is the mirror image of why you chose it. Employers want people who are natural and who have a passion for their business. But unlike others, you have the homework to prove you have both of them. Your future lets you answer the where do you see yourself in 5 years question. Your past provides a lot of information for your resume and for interviews. Your elevator statement can be used with almost anyone. A plan to validate your career is really your right career can be done via 2 methods: informational interviews and research. Do informational interviews even if you're certain it is your right career, because these are a great way to find hidden jobs. If the interviewer is interested in finding you a job, you can leverage your sales story. But remember, the informational interview is not a sales call. Now you need to put together a follow-on plan. It's probably is execution-oriented, for example, finding a first job in your right career, maybe going to grad school. Make it a SMART plan: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. Build into the follow-on plan how to leverage the networks you've gotten from your career advisor, the members of your career advisory board, and your informational interviewers. Share with your career advisor your right career and your sales story. Share how you validated that career is really right for you. Especially share your follow-on plan. See if your career advisor will become part of your follow-on plan. Address in which of the specific areas in your SMART plan you'd like help. Talk about what to share with the members of your career advisory board. Also discuss in which of the specific areas in your SMART plan you would like help from each member of your career advisory board. This is the second and last time you will meet with the members of your career advisory board. Remember, you are most likely meeting with them individually. Share with them your right career and your sales story. Ask for their feedback on both. They are your windows on the world. Share your follow-on plan at a high level. Also discuss in which of the specific areas in your SMART plan you would like help from each member of your career advisory board. An obvious area is access to their network. See if they will meet with you again as you begin your execution phase. Ideally, one or more will remain on your career advisory board for a long time. The last of the three major topics is why using the My Right Career program adds a lot of value over doing it yourself. Now that I have shown you how to do it yourself, given you the Try It website, and let you use the Get Started step for free, why would you want to buy my program? Because you will do even better if you use my program. I will use the same two elements, team and process, to show you why you'll do even better by using my program. We have significantly enhanced the Career Advisor. We provide them training on the 4-part formula and the 6 insight steps. We provide them the Right Career program at no charge. We provide them your topic summary documents at the end of each step. These 3 documents allow them to read your insights before the meeting and have a more productive meeting. Last, we give them access to your learning management system, if you both agree, so they can see your progress and look at your output in real time. All of our professional coaches are certified career coaches. We have also trained them on the My Right Career program. For each step, we offer a workshop facilitated by a professional coach. Not only do you get to interact with the coach, you also get to interact with other people who are also working to identify their right career. You can use this approach to supplement your accountability partner. It gives you access to a professional coach at a fraction of the price of one-on-one coaching. Next, let's talk about the enhancements to the process element. First, what doesn't change? We use the same 5 third-party assessments I recommend you use. They will cost you the same $135 because you directly pay the third parties as you will if you do it yourself. In addition to the third-party assessments, we provide a large number of system-unique assessments. If you do it yourself, these will have to be developed by you. As you know, the heart of our approach are the 6 insight steps and the 3 topics within each step. You just heard an explanation of those steps and those topics. By purchasing the program, you will not only have the steps and topics, but in addition, you will have all the content with each topic. This is the same content you experienced when you completed the Get Started step. You'll be able to use content that has taken years to develop and perfect. The secret to identifying your right career is gaining insights from all the assessments, third-party or our proprietary ones. The insights are more important than the assessments themselves. The secret to creating a great insight document is to have a SMART template. A SMART template's like having a coach inside the template. If you do it yourself, you'll have to develop those templates yourself. Another way we help you gain insights is providing you examples of every insight document you're going to create and providing them for each career phase. Our learning management system guides you through the 6 steps and 18 topics, plus all the parts within these topics. You will know your exact status at any time. If you go away on a business trip or spend a lot of time on a large project, you don't have to remember where you were. The system remembers for you. In this example, the next part you need to complete is part 4, Create Personality Topic Summary. The learning management system also allows you to store your results in the system. Now you're not looking all over your computer for the documents. You can work on your desktop machine, your laptop, your iPhone, or someone else's laptop. Your documents are all out on the cloud in the learning management system. Our system is self-paced, so you are totally in charge. Some people move through it very rapidly. For example, they spend 3 to 4 hours a week and finish the interim capstone in 6 weeks, while others take more time. For example, they only spend 2 hours a week and takes them 10 weeks to finish the interim capstone. We give you multiple different price points. 1. Purchase the program for a one-time payment of $350. If you can't afford that, you can pay $35 a month for 12 months. If you believe you can finish the program rapidly, you should use the subscription plan. For example, finish it in 3 months and only pay $210. If you have a buddy who wants to also identify a right career, work with them as your accountability partner. Since they get the program at no charge, the two of you would split the cost and only pay $175. If you're a self-starter, then do it yourself and pay nothing. Actually, there's a 5th alternative. You can apply for a scholarship. If you earn one, you'll receive the program at no charge, saving the $350 purchase price. To find out more information, visit the Order Now page in the Scholarship FAQ. In summary, our mission is to help you work in your right career, because when you work in your right career, you look forward to each and every day. The job doesn't seem like work because it uses your natural skills, strengths, and personality. And you love it so much, you lose track of time. Helping people identify their right career allows us to make 3 major positive impacts in the world. First, people working in the right career are the ones who change the world. Second, having a career that is right for you is a requirement for having thriving well-being. Third, when you work in your right career, you're like a drop of water in the pond of life. You create ripples that affect everything and everyone. They see you have thriving well-being, and they see you're making positive contributions. They want to be like you. Fourth, it creates a virtuous cycle because they then become a drop of water in the pond of life. I hope this presentation has helped you understand how you can do it yourself. You can learn more about doing it yourself by the following 2 no-charge resources. Taking a test drive through the Try It site. On that test drive, completing the Get Started step. If you decide not to do it yourself, I explained the extra value you receive by using the My Right Career program. You can find out more about the My Right Career program by clicking on the Program button on the home page. I also explained the multiple methods you have of paying for the program, from no charge to full purchase price. You can find out more about the cost by clicking on the Order Now button on the home page. Thanks for listening, and good luck finding your right career.